sir.
Good morning. Promptly at 9.
Just went for what?
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the Quapaw Nation Business Committee regular meeting for Saturday, June 15th, 2024, and the time is 9:01. Member Davis, would you please give the invocation?
Away and Tante, Father God in heaven, we just come to you this morning. Father, so humbled to be in your presence. Father, we just thank you for this day that you have made and the blessings that you've bestowed upon each and every one of us that are present. Father God, I ask that you just go with us through this day, Father, as we go into the business of the nation, Father, that we, Father, make the best decisions that we can, Father, and that there be an understanding of one another, that we seek your guidance in all things. Father, I ask you that you return each and every one of us home safely, Father God, and be with those that aren't able to be present for whatever reason, that they feel your heavenly touch upon them. Lead, guide, and direct us in all things. We give you all the praise and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take roll call? Your Superintendent, present. Vice Chair McKibben. Secretary Treasurer Valier, present. Member Buffalo.
Present.
Member Mercer. Member Davis.
Present.
Member Gibbs-Water.
Present.
Madam Chair, I declare we have a quorum. Thank you. Could you please call for the orders of the day? Madam Chair, I call for the orders of the day. Thank you. We're going to go on to the correction and approval of last month's minutes. Business Committee, are there any corrections to the May 18th meeting minutes? Hearing no objections, we're going to go ahead and proceed to the vote. All those in favor of adopting the May 18th meeting minutes as distributed, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The May 18th minutes are adopted as distributed. Sorry about that, folks. We've got a microphone issue. Okay. Looks like Mikey resolved it. Thank you so much. We're going to go on to item 6, the approval, disapproval of the directors and subcommittee reports submitted. Is there a motion?
Here I so move.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the directors and subcommittee reports as submitted. Is there any discussion? We'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor of approving the directors and subcommittee reports as submitted, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries, and the directors and subcommittee reports are approved. We're going to go on to the chair's report. All right, just takes me a couple minutes to get organized. So we do have a few announcements to make. Our annual memorial dinner was held May 18th, last month. We'd like to formally thank everyone who worked so hard to make it a successful dinner. It makes us proud that what we started in 1919 continues to the current time. We should all be proud of carrying our Quapaw traditions forward. In addition, we'd like to thank Blaze Fagan for placing flags on our veteran graves and everyone who contributed to a respectful Memorial Day full of honors deserved. Effective yesterday, O-gah-pah Communications and O-gah-pah Coffee employees are now employees of the Quapaw Nation with new focus on building their enterprises. Welcome. Member Davis, would you please give an update on the Good Eagle settlement remaining funds?
Yes, Madam Chair. Away. The Business Committee has begun deliberating on open items that must be decided. Those include potential distribution, target group, process, timing, and amounts. The BC has decided to engage RSM and another firm to assist with the process to establish a fair, consistent, and well-communicated process. Their activities will include define intake information, questionnaire, and develop the notice to be sent to tribal members. Acquire, develop, and maintain the settlement website, which will include, among other things, the notice and other relevant documents, and the ability to download such documents, obtain information, and submit applications. Establish a toll-free line with interactive voice response capabilities and an option to speak with a live agent. Arrange for the emailing of the notice to those tribal members where we have an email address. Arrange for the printing and mailing of the notice to tribal members. Arrange for the mailing of a pre-printed application form after final approval to tribal members that have not opted out of the settlement. Remail notices that are returned undeliverable but with a forwarding address. Search for updated address information for those tribal members whose notice is returned as undeliverable with no forwarding address, and remail notice if updated address information is available. Maintain and update a database of reliable mailing addresses and contact information for potential members. Manage correspondence, including opt-out forms and objections from tribal members, and coordinate with you and to maintain a list of those opt-out forms received from tribal members. Receive and review applications submitted by tribal members. Attempt to locate tribal members whose checks were returned undeliverable and remail checks to any such tribal members that are subsequently located. Reporting and other project management associated with this process. We appreciate your patience with these decisions while these decisions are made and the processes are carefully planned. This business committee understands the need to move forward swiftly. Gunagay.
Thank you, Member Davis. Member Mercer, would you please provide a Ray Property Home project update?
Yes, Madam Chair. The Ray property, we now have rock on the road. It's been compacted, so this should not interfere anymore with bringing items in. The mud is not going to be a factor, or the rain. House number 1 and number 2, they are painted, ready for flooring to be installed. It is on the board for installation the week of the 24th. House number 3 and 4, the sheetrock has been hung. They have been taped and muddied. They should start spraying texture on the walls the middle of next week. Then when it dries, they will be ready for painting. Also, next week, hopefully, they're supposed to start putting siding on both of those units. House number 5 has had sheetrock delivered, and it is to be installed next week. Trusses have been put together and wall panels delivered for number 6. Number 7 and 8 are being completed at the factory. Plans for number 9 have been approved, and it will go into production. Survey has been completed on naming the addition. Getting 61% of the vote was Quapaw Community, O-gah-pah today, and that concludes the update.
Thank you, Member Mercer. Member Gibbs-Water, would you please provide an update on the powwow ground improvements?
Yes, Madam Chair. Well, good morning, everybody. The electrical upgrade for the entire project is complete. All they got to do is demobilize and clean up. The water installation is all complete. Everything is tied in together. Pressure testing checked out. They sent it off, chlorinated it, sent it off to the lab in Tulsa, waiting on the results. Should be back on Monday, if not Tuesday, waiting on those results to get in and pass. All the stormwater is in and complete. All the floodplain concrete paving will be complete by the end of this week down on the bottom of the north side of the creek. We will start the asphalt paving on Monday and should be done by next Friday, and we're 20% complete on the finishing grade, which is all the cleanup dirt work around the roads and camps and everything. We plan to achieve substantial completion by the 24th of June, and after collaborating with the grounds committee, we plan to have the grounds open for campers on June 28th at 5 p.m. at the end of the business day. you guys have any questions or concerns, please reach out to the grounds committee or myself. Information to get a hold of the grounds committee is online. My information's online. If anybody has any questions or concerns regarding their camps, anything like that. But really, we're just about there. We're just about there. We're going to be,
Outstanding.
should be done. Should be done by the 24th. Give everybody a few days, clean up the grounds, and campers come in the 28th and get ready for powwow.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Member Buffalo, would you please provide a cemetery committee update?
Yes, Madam Chairman, thank you. I am on the cemetery committee, probably few still left since the inception of the committee. Composed of myself, Linda Davis, Eric Eby. We are a subcommittee that functions as needed, and we receive no stipend. Briefly, don't know it, the cemetery is located directly east of the tribe's convenience store, on the right-hand side of the road. It's basically across from the processing plant. Currently, the east half of the east section cemetery is plotted. Approximately 1,000 graves and sites in there, and there's enough right now reserved that it's about 80% full. I mean each family has the opportunity to reserve at no cost 4 plots in the cemetery. The committee right now is looking to plot the west side of the east half. The west half has no activity in it right now. I guess you would say that the cemetery committee functions in many different ways. Those who don't know it, we supply grave markers, installation. The only exception would be a cost to the individual if they want, say, a picture added to the grave marker or some special saying, and that would be at the cost of the individual. Also, we have the opportunity to supply flags from cemeteries locally who have flags. They request them. A lot of things we do that people don't know about. So one of the main things we have to take care of, and I appreciate Lynn spearheading this effort, is the Veterans Monument by the museum. Currently, it has 308 names on it, and she has them engraved. When we get 3 veterans, veterans could be serving in peacetime or times of hostility. Doesn't matter. They've served their nation. Some gave all. Respect that and honor them. This last 2 weeks ago, there were 6 additional names. There was Samuel Bernard Cockrell, Samuel M. Cockrell, Austin Barry Cockrell, Felix Gage Nixon, Hunter James Albright, and Drake Hinkle. If you haven't had the opportunity to see that monument, I'd recommend you go see it because, you know, it's nice to honor our veterans. Some gave all. Some sad, but their service has affected them greatly. A lot of them need help. I'd like to see some kind of program started by the nation to help those veterans like that. I have a son who's been affected. He served in Bosnia. Just appreciate the opportunity to serve on this committee. Honor our people as they walk on. We can find grave marker sites for them. I appreciate the maintenance department for maintaining the cemetery, other local family cemeteries. Appreciate the marshals as they give escorts to on funeral days. Trying to be very brief. The chairman's permission, I would like to brief moment for honor those who served and those who have walked on, those who gave all in battle. Thank you.
Renegade. Next item, at the Constitution Committee's request, the Quapaw Nation Business Committee is calling a special meeting of the Quapaw Nation Indian Council to amend the governing resolution on Saturday, September the 7th, and Sunday, September the 8th, if needed, at Downstream Pavilion. Amendments will resolve discrepancies in the governing resolution regarding a couple of different items. Better definition of who is a qualified voter. Section 2, candidate requirements. Adding language and removing language. Add language for felonies and crimes of moral turpitude. Remove language regarding nominees from the floor. Clarify pre-certification for secretary-treasurer. Section 3, who designates the election date and place, including filing date, single candidate or no candidate. Section 4, vacancies for elected offices. Section 6.2, Ethics Commission vacancies. Section 9, strengthening some language and striking language regarding strengthened surety bond requirements and strike Commissioner of Indian Affairs language. After the adjournment of the special meeting to amend the governing resolution, the Constitution Committee would like to facilitate an open dialogue to allow the members at the special meeting to openly discuss and guide the Constitution Committee on various topics. Those topics will include elections and procedures, terms of elected officials, number of general council meetings and rules, number of business committee meetings and rules, and options that balance and strengthen our governing powers. Thank you to the Constitution Committee, and we'll get that announcement out quite broadly via the Quapaw Post, social media, as well as newsprint. Next item, there are a number of myths being circulated that I would like to address this morning. No, zero political contributions have been made to my reelection campaign from any person or entity. You folks pay me a salary that I'm very appreciative of. I can afford my own yard signs. I have not embezzled $19 million of Good Eagle settlement funds or other resources of the Quapaw Nation. I am one of 7 business committee members and honored to serve with no unilateral decision-making authority. Our governing resolution requires a majority vote for any decision to take effect. This business committee follows our laws. And I'm sorry we have to have this conversation, but it is the truth. And the Quapaw tribal members deserve the truth. This is the truth. Moving on, the business committee attended the following events this last month. Had an opportunity to meet Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, First Gentleman Brian Sanders, and Chief Standing Bearer of the Osage Nation, where we discussed items of common interest with a continued focus on strengthening relationships for many years to come. Secretary-Treasurer Vallier, Member Davis, and 4 Quapaw Nation directors and I attended the Miami Chamber of Commerce Women in Business Connection Luncheon. It was very well attended. We also brainstormed with Missouri Southern State University on pathways for more of our Quapaw Nation youth to attend their academic and athletic programs. The entire business committee attended the Quapaw Nation Splash Pad grand opening. The initial reports are how much the community youth enjoy this new fun feature in Quapaw. Thank you again to the Child Care Development Fund Team, Director Joetta Smith, Laura Johnston, and Donna Mack, John Jackson Jr., and Branko for making this vision from a few years ago become a reality. Secretary-Treasurer Vallier and I attended the Oklahoma chapter Daughters of the American Revolution, commemoration of the 1924 Indian Citizenship Act in Oklahoma City. This act was passed by the United States Congress, where it imposed U.S. citizenship on indigenous peoples of the United States. Indigenous tribes were mostly considered to be separate nations with citizenship and treaty rights, so their people were not considered to be citizens of the United States until this act was passed 100 years ago. We also attended a USDA Department of Interior Tribal Treaty Database consultation and Department of Interior Office of Grants Management Tribal consultation. The Tribal Sovereignty Symposium in Oklahoma City was also attended. Vice Chairman McKibben, would you please provide an update on the symposium outcomes?
Good morning. This week, Linda Vallier, Linda Davis, Chairwoman Supernaw, and myself, we got to attend the Sovereignty Symposium. There was a wealth of information down there for everyone. It was almost too much because within the time frames that were allotted for each speaker, it seemed the initial two or three would kind of carry on because they had so much information to offer. And then the last two or three that were scheduled had to kind of rush themselves and maybe were only allotted 3 to 4 minutes to speak on their topics. The topics included education, government to government compacts and relations, juvenile issues, issues with criminal law, the arts such as music and art and things like that, and the importance of having those in school and the relationships between tribes and their schools, language, water infrastructure, agriculture, healthcare, and data sovereignty, and a wealth of information. And some of the highlights that I found very interesting is that, and this is from 22, just the economic impact of tribes alone has a $15.6 billion impact. And there's an estimated, give or take at any given time, 135,000 employees within the state that are employed by nations, casinos, things like that. The contribution that the tribes or the nations make to education within the state, and this was a long known ongoing thing that Victor Flores, he is the Oklahoma Tribal Finance Consortium president. Of course, answer we've expected, asked the state to audit the money from gaming compacts as to how it's being spent. And of course, he's still waiting on that answer from Governor Stitt. Water continues to be a huge issue all across the country and the world, basically, that we're really fortunate here that so far we haven't been hit with as hard as some of the other places out west. They kind of say, you know, they fix problems, but then they go in and fix those, and sometimes those problems for different cities and municipalities aren't maintained. They go in and fix the problem, but then they just kind of let it go after it's fixed and isn't maintained for whatever reason. This gentleman from Enid, who's on their development out there, was kind of saying how they were getting water from Call Lake now, and there was a call lady there, and she said, well, who asked the cause? They built Call Lake, and they actually exhumed people from their cemetery and moved it from a river bottom so they could make Call Lake. And now the city of Enid is pumping water from Call Lake, but she's adamant that the cause were not consulted on this, which is not surprising. Also, gaming issues that are kind of a hot topic. This gentleman from Oklahoma City University, Kyle Dean, he kind of showed the growth of the impact on gaming from the mid 80s, where it was around 700,000 a month going to the state. And now and this is an old study. He said it's time for a new study. This is information from 2019, but he has not updated it yet. But 17 million a month is being contributed. So that was also an interesting thing. 46% of gaming employees in the state, they say, and this is also kind of fluctuates, 46% of gaming employees are non-native. So they just kind of gives you a balance, to kind of show you the impact that gaming has on the jobs in the state. One last thing related to gaming, iGaming and sports betting continues to be kind of a hot topic, and seemed like to be a consensus. Is it worth opening the gaming compacts? Everybody else seemed to say it's 2 years away, which coincides with Governor Stitt's term. So that seemed to be when they recommended reopening those acts. And the last thing that was kind of profound for myself was that I have yet to get this book, but I'm going to. That trying hard is not good enough. It's a book by Mark Friedman, and that was recommended as a read by one of the gentlemen in this presentation. So it's kind of speaks to all of us. It's human nature to get complacent at times, and just kind of telling us, you know, when you read this book, he's like, yeah, you can think you're working hard, and you can talk yourself into thinking you're working hard, but sometimes trying hard is just not good enough. So, and then another gentleman, and this was a profound thing too, that a lot of our spiritual laws passed down that are not written. He said, you know, it's these laws that were handed down from us, from our ancestors to us, were not to be changed or violated. You know, a lot of times we get to compromising and doing things, but it's adamant that, you know, spiritual laws that have been in place for so long, these were not to be changed to adapt however you want them to be violated. Just a brief synopsis of the sovereignty symposium, excuse me. And again, it was, like I said, a wealth of information, and I felt very good to attend.
Thank you so much, Vice Chairman. Secretary Treasurer Valier, the tax commissioners, and the tax administrator attended the quarterly Oklahoma Intertribal Tax Alliance meeting in Lawton. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please provide an update on that meeting?
Madam Chair. Good morning. The Quapaw Nation Tax Commission, Tax Administrator, and Business Committee Secretary Treasurer attended the Oklahoma Intertribal Tax Association meeting on June 24th, 2024. Presentations were made by One Tribe Intertribal Software, Oklahoma Policy Institute, and Cougar Den. One Tribe Intertribal Software provides enterprise software data systems for tribal entities. I believe that's one that we have started using ourselves. Oklahoma Policy Institute is a nonpartisan, independent policy think tank working to advance equitable and fiscal responsible policies that expand opportunities for all Oklahomans. Cougar Den LLC is a fuel and tobacco supplier owned by a tribe out of Washington State. They presented services that they could provide to tribal nations within Oklahoma. Topics discussed during the OITA meeting included income tax update, tribal tag issues, including Oklahoma Turnpike Authority and tag compacts, tobacco compact update, and a motor fuel compact update. The income tax update included issues with Native Americans living within their respective reservation boundaries and working for their respective tribe being exempt from Oklahoma state income tax. The tribal tax issues discussed revolved around ways to resolve the issues brought about with the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority requesting tribal tag information for purposes of the new plate pay system and the tag compact offers sent to many of the tribes from Oklahoma Governor Stitt's office. The Quapaw Nation has received a tag compact offer from Governor Stitt's office. Quapaw Nation currently does not have a tag compact with the state of Oklahoma, and we have not had one in previous years. This tag compact offer is being reviewed by the business committee as we will be responding to the Governor Stitt's office on the tag compact offer soon. The tobacco compact updated discussed many ways that tribal compacts are set to expire at the end of 2024. We should see tobacco compact offers coming from Governor Stitt's office within the next couple of months. Oklahoma Nation currently has a tobacco compact. Quapaw Nation currently has a tobacco compact with the state of Oklahoma, and we will review closely and compare any new tobacco compact offer as soon as we receive one from Governor Stitt's office. Oh, these are tongue twisters. The motor fuel compacts are under review by Oklahoma Stitt's office. The tribes of Oklahoma can expect new compact offers from the Governor Stitt's office as each tribe's current compact's expiration date approaches. Quapaw Nation currently does have the motor fuel compact with the state of Oklahoma and will closely review any new compact offer the governor's office sends us. The Quapaw Nation Business Committee will work to negotiate the best terms possible for the benefit of the Quapaw Nation on any compact offer that is received from Oklahoma State. We will weigh the responsibilities of the Quapaw Nation to the Quapaw people, our surrounding communities, as well as to the state of Oklahoma when considering the terms within any compact. Renegade.
Thank you, Secretary Treasurer. In addition, we met with the Department of Interior Assistant Secretary, Indian Affairs, Brian Newland, and his senior team members. The discussion and requests were on two very different topics. First, the Quapaw Nation requested that the Department of Interior commit to supporting our interests in the FERC proceedings associated with the project. With respect to the current license, we requested that Interior advocate that FERC require GRDA acquire adequate flowage easements to mitigate the flooding on the Spring River. For the new license, we requested that Interior advocate for license conditions that will ensure protection of the Quapaw Nation's water, property, and other trust resources. There was a good outcome where a specific individual who was on the call was assigned as our contact, and so those dialogues continue to the current time. We also requested that Interior commit to supporting the Quapaw Nation through congressional hearings and other means in pursuing legislation to appropriate the Bear Settlement Funds so that distribution can occur as soon as possible. There was a good outcome and additional discussions have been scheduled. The nation held the following events this last month. First off was the medicine wheel garden that was planted at the Food Sovereignty Farm, and several Quapaw Nation citizens participated in planting the garden. The event was sponsored by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration and hosted by the Food Sovereignty and Quapaw Nation Youth Programs. The CCDF program started a new project called I Hope You Dance, where the goal is to loan children regalia who might not ever have the chance to own their own so they can be fully immersed in our tradition. Bids were taken from Quapaw tribal members who are specialized in making Quapaw regalia for boys, girls, ages infant to 12 years old. They are also requesting people donate gently used regalia, jewelry, fans, moccasins, etc. for the children. You can contact the CCDF department for more information if you're interested in participating. There was a pottery class held for our youth. The Quapaw Flags plaque was installed at the museum. The plaque was installed next to the USS Quapaw Anchor located at Robert Whiteberg Cultural Center. The plaque reads, "The members of the crew who served aboard USS Quapaw ATF 110 dedicate our anchor, which blessed the bow of our ship for 69 years, as a bond to your nation and our service to provide a lasting memorial." We want to thank the Culture Committee for both of these important installations. The O-Guah-Pah Wisdom Keepers held an outing earlier this week. They started at the Joplin Mineral Museum, lunch at Downstream, then had a meeting later that afternoon at the RWC classroom. We hope all the elders who were able to attend had a great time. There are some upcoming events. Downstream Casino donated 2 tickets to the cancer awareness team for the Kane Brown concert on July 3rd. They're selling raffle tickets for those at $1 a piece or 6 tickets for $5. Raffle tickets will be sold and drawn at next week's farmers market on Friday, June the 21st. And then June the 21st will be the next farmers market. And again, those are held on the first and third Fridays until October. This month's grand prize is a rain barrel, bird feeder camera, bird feed, and wildflower seeds. Pardon the weeds, I'm feeding the bee sign, and a $100 prize package from Quapaw Casino, which will be drawn at the end of the market. You'll receive a raffle ticket by just walking through the doors and an additional ticket for each vendor booth you make a purchase. On June the 22nd, the Quapaw Nation Education Department will be holding the 2024 graduation banquet at Downstream at 11 a.m. The nation will be celebrating high school, college, tech, and vocational school graduates, and really looking forward to that. June 24th to 28th is Camp Quapaw Week for our youth, grades 2 to 12. Grades 2 to 12. This is our youth's chance to learn our culture in a fun and exciting environment. This event is being hosted by the Quapaw Nation's youth program and sponsored by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. July 1st and 2nd, Southern Plains Moccasin class will be held for grades 5 to 12. Space is limited to 10 people. That'll be from 1 to 5 p.m. both days, presented by the Quapaw Nation Youth Program. And again, that's sponsored by SAMHSA as well. July 2nd is the health fair. That'll be held from 8 a.m. to noon at the fitness center. So from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. will be for ages 55 and older. From 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., all ages will be allowed. Several booths will be on display, including the Oklahoma Indian Legal Services, who will be there to provide answers to legal questions and take applications for legal services. At that same time, Indian tacos will be served at the Title VI building with the same time and ages as the health fair, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 55 plus, 10 a.m. to 12, all ages. July 4th is our general council meeting at Downstream Pavilion starting at 9 a.m. Breakfast will be served starting at 8 o'clock. Multiple documents have been posted to the tribal website, official social media sites, and printed copies at the museum, Title VI, and the admin building. Those documents include the General Counsel frequently asked questions, the General Counsel meeting minutes from July the 4th, 2023, as well as the Special General Counsel meeting minutes from September 30th, 2023, proposed grievance committee policies and procedures, proposed ethics code from the Ethics Commission, General Counsel Child Care Pre-Registration Form, and Brent Devine over here has printed copies available this morning if you would like one. Additional documents may be available before July 4th for tribal members. We're trying to get those out as early as possible for your review. During General Counsel, there will be an opportunity for all certified candidates. Sorry, my cursor bounces around. There will be an opportunity for all certified candidates to address General Counsel. Chair candidates are Mickey Drew Wilson and Weena Supernaw. Secretary Treasurer Linda Valier is unopposed, and Lloyd Buffalo, Amy Panther Kvistad, Brenda McDonough Murray are running for the member position. The election will be held on July 27th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We encourage all eligible tribal members to become a registered voter if you're not already. We also encourage everyone to vote either in person on July 27th or by absentee ballot. If anyone is unsure if they can vote in person, please get those absentee ballot requests in now. The absentee ballot request form is on the tribal website and available at the admin building. July 4th through 7th is Quapaw Nation's 152nd annual powwow, and July 4th is Quapaw Night. July 6th, there's a beaded earring class that's being held from 1 to 3 at the Title VI building. This class is sponsored by the Quapaw Tribal Library and funded by the Institute of Museum and Library Services out of Washington, D.C. July the 6th at 6 p.m. is the Quapaw Nation Tribal Group Photo, and that's scheduled in the arena at 6 p.m. Again, that's July 6th at 6 p.m., so please be there. July 12th, the Quapaw Food Sovereignty Department and Cattle Company is putting on another food distribution. Application deadline is 4 p.m. on July 12th, so you've still got time, but please get those applications in. And the distribution pickup dates are July 22nd to 27th. And again, that application could be found on the website. We're going to go on to just a couple of financial updates for the gaming properties. First, Quapaw Casino. For the month ending April 30th, 2024, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization totaled $566,000 with a margin of 25.5%. This is a good result. It exceeded budget expectations and represents an increase of $188,000 from April last year. So that's a really solid result. The increase from last year is primarily the result of increased gaming and food revenue. There were indeed increases year over year in some expense categories. However, total net revenue for April 2023 showed an increase of 162,000 from last year. So net income from the month totaled 602,000 with a margin of 27%. We are happy to see the new gas pumps at the C-store. Yippee! Hope you guys have been able to go by and see those. You can actually see the readers now. It's a beautiful thing. Quapaw Casino development continues, and we're still in the pre-construction phase. As far as downstream casino and resort, for May was a much better month for downstream in comparison to April. For the month ended May 31st, EBITDA totaled 7.9 million with a margin of almost 42%. And that result exceeded budgeted expectations by a little over $500,000. Again, a really good result. Total net revenue for May of 2024 was 18.8 million, and that represents an increase from last year of about a little over 6%. The fiscal year 2024 year-over-year expense comparison did show an overall increase in multiple categories. But net income for the month totaled 6.2 million with a margin of 33.3% and represents a positive budget variance of almost $1 million. So, and net income compared to May of last year showed an increase of almost $500,000. Saracen, gaming volumes in May bounced back as expected based on increased volumes over prior year, with slots handle up 7.4% and sportsbook handle up 56.8%. Total gaming revenue exceeded budget by 4%. Table games volume continues to reflect a softening, finishing 17.4% below prior year. Hold for the month reflected more industry norms of 8.7% because it'd been really compressed the last couple of months. For the fiscal year through May, sports handle is up 156.4%. Development of the hotel and event center is underway with the execution of the formal guaranteed maximum price with Flintco. They're the general contractor. Significant progress has been made recently with the structure of the event center podium. The 5th floor of the development has been poured and expect to add a floor every 2 weeks until topping off sometime this October. Remember, that's going to be 14 stories in height. Updates on the timing of the development will be forthcoming, with initial estimates following it around fall of 2025 opening. And the team there is really excited to continue making progress on significant projects, especially in terms of diversifying cash flows and providing the best gaming experience to our guests. Focus continues building the premier experience to provide future returns to the Quapaw Nation. This concludes the chair's report. Gunagay. We're going to go on to the subcommittee report. Shall we start with the Elders Committee?
Okay,
wonderful.
yes, we wanted to tell you that your elders had a wonderful day on Thursday. We had a number of events. We started out with a tour of the museum in Joplin, the Museum of History and Minerals, and we had changed our date from the 6th to the 13th because the director very much wanted to meet with the elders and personally take us around. So it was a private group that went to the museum, which is very, very interesting. And if you have a chance to go, it's in Schifferdecker Park, and it's behind the golf course and behind the water park. But it is very, very interesting. And Director Chris did tell us about mining from the aspect of the miners events. But we were there and enjoyed our tour there, and we did have a chance to make some remarks, and Brenda, I believe, did well of mentioning picture. And so we went with that. Following that, we went down to downstream for lunch at Spring River Buffet. And the staff there, when I talked to the manager afterwards, she said they were so looking forward to us coming. And the service was just great. The food was great. It was all set up for us to be there. And so again, it was just a very, very wonderful lunch. And part of that was from the memories we got from the museum. We wanted to get our people together to have a chance to visit with one another. We did that very well over lunch, thinking of memories and the whole thing. And so from there, then we came back to Title VI in the museum building for our meeting. And in case you missed it, there was media. We were on Channel 12 on Thursday. And so we are very much now looking forward to powwow, when all of our families can get together. We'll have our family dinners. And again, it was just a wonderful day. Gonna gay.
Thank you so much, Grace. Glad to hear y'all had a really nice day. Cultural Committee, Barbara?
Morning. First off, from the Cultural Committee, my phone has been, you mentioned myths earlier. I call them rumors. My phone's been ringing off this month about rumors about this and that. And one, I received information about Cultural Committee. I am now on the Cultural Committee. I was honored to be asked to be on it recently, as well as a few other people. I understand that there was a previous Cultural Committee, and apparently there was issues. I'm not aware of any of them, and I don't care to be aware of any of them, but that seems to be trickling over into the conversations that we are having now. The Cultural Committee, however, has put out, since I've been there, like I said, I was honored to be asked to be on there. I did not want to be chairperson of it, but as you can see, I am. And so we're going to do our best to do that. We do not follow, since the formal type of meetings, we have a casual meeting. Since Robert is not a Quapaw, we don't follow his rules necessarily. And so we do have conversations just in general during our meetings and discussions. If we have something that we need to pass formally, then we do that formally according to the rules. But that's just the way I go, and I put that out up front that I would not be doing it formally as some do. But we have put out initially, I hope it's been in the Post. I don't look on media, social media often. And I'm old school. I type things and write things out. But we put out there for a list of things that were priority for tribal members that they wanted the Cultural Committee to have and follow this next year. We did come up with five of the most highly recommended issues, and that is supposed to be posted somewhere on online, I guess, maybe under Cultural Committee. I don't know. I haven't looked to see if it was there, but we did do that. We are following that. We hope to have some of those classes started right away with others. We did participate recently. The Events Committee, at our request, participated in the Miami Public Schools summer program, and they did a really good demonstration. Karen and Melanie and a young man were there doing demonstrations. They made beaded keychains. The kids helped the kids make beaded keychains. I went over and stayed for a few minutes to see, but I had another appointment. So it was very good, a very good start for the Cultural Committee's activities. It was also rumored to me that the people are not invited to come to the Cultural Committee meetings. I don't know where that has started or come from. We welcome anyone that wants to come to the cultural meetings. We'd be glad for you to be there. We have them the Friday, usually the Friday before the Business Committee meetings at 1 p.m. at the museum classroom. And we would welcome your comments after we complete our meeting and our discussions, to have you sit in and give us your ideas about things. We also have discussed, I know some of you are, some of us that have been around a long, long time know about the orange book that the tribe made years ago with the record with Bill Shawnee. We have spoken with his daughter and have gotten permission to use some of his music on things. I think I reported that last month. But also, along with that, we have discussed having another meeting such as that to get elders together, just like Grace was talking a while ago. Get elders together in a room and let them visit and talk about old things and about how things used to be and about how things are, so that we can get that down possibly in video or at least audio again, like we did in past years. So that's kind of an update on what we're doing. And if you'd like to come and give us your opinion or talk about something, you're more than welcome anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, for that update. Election committee, Frank?
All right, let's see. This working? Yes. Okay. We kind of went over the importance of we will be having our annual election. It will be July the 27th. Now, the absentee ballots, the election committee has already put those packets together, and all you have to do is come out to the office or call the office and request it, and one will be mailed to you. You have until the 26th at 5 o'clock to get them turned in, the day before the election. If you pick one up locally, decide you want to come out and vote locally, it has been noted that you picked up an absentee packet. You have to return that packet in its entirety and able to vote in person. That's the stipulation in our ordinances. But other than that, everything's going good. We're looking at a nice election, great general counsel, and I just say good luck to all the candidates, and everybody do your research and vote with your heart for what's best for our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Constitution Committee, Roman?
Morning. So the majority of the work the Constitution Committee has been doing this week was to get prepared for the request for the special general counsel. So thank you for making that announcement. The date being set so far out is going to allow us to also do, this is just throwing it out there, is possibly allow general counsel to add any agenda items to that if they see fit coming up on July 4th, because that'll give us 60-day window. We could add to the agenda, but at a minimum, the things announced are definitely going to be things that need to be addressed. It's surprising. You heard Frank talk about doing your research. I think as a people, it would do us well to do our research on a lot more than just candidates, right? And that includes our governance, our documents that get approved and passed, our ordinances, because what we've found and the mess that we're in is because we largely take things at face value and how they're presented to us and what sounds right. And when push comes to shove, we have to follow the black on the white. And what we have found is the black on the white doesn't align with how we actually live and how we are actually governed. So I just want to put that out there also. The Constitution Committee has talked about a lot of things that we can do to help bridge that gap of information not being communicated, maybe some ongoing information sessions, maybe opportunities where we could just sit and talk about documents so that we have just a larger group of folks with the knowledge of what's happening, what's getting passed, what are we approving. And so that's a lot of what we're talking about now. We're also in the approaching the writing phase of the Constitution, the actual Constitution. We've been talking about Constitution a lot. Now we're actually ready to write everything. We've got the amendments that we needed in place, and what we're going to need is the help of General Counsel to be able to bring some of these ideas closer to what we actually want and how we want to operate. So we can expect a discussion to start happening about what I'm referring to as a constitutional convention. Our committee hasn't really given it an official term, but we know that there's a larger dialogue that needs to happen, and that dialogue is going to start on the backside of this special general counsel. So those are some of the things that we could expect. You could look for the formal announcement to be posted for the special general counsel after the July 4th general counsel, because then we'll have any input and feedback from general counsel, and that could all get mailed out and posted appropriately according to the governing resolution. That's it.
Roman, thank you. Sure do appreciate it. Are there any other subcommittees before we move on? Right. Next up is Downstream Development Authority, Quapaw Casino Authority update from Cuggy Superna.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
We got a call yesterday from Saracen, and my understanding was they had a record month last month, which is good news. We had one of our members go over to Saracen, I think it was Wednesday, and on Thursday they got their gaming license for Arkansas, which gave us 3 members that are licensed. Derek Jennings was the 3rd one, and he was able to get out into the community and visit with people. And he said that we had widespread support within the community. And I thought that was interesting because the original justification for Indian gaming was to create jobs in economically depressed areas. And we are doing that in Pine Bluff. So we've got widespread support there in the community, which I was sure glad to hear that. Not many Quapaws over there. Not many of them are Quapaw. There's a lot of jobs available for people that want to work. With that third member of the committee, we determined that we had the right to vote. So yesterday we approved the renewal of the financing package, Harrison. And of course, it will be at current interest rates, but on banking charges, we were able to save $50,000, which I thought was pretty good news. Anyway, today we have a meeting at 1:30. Most of routine business, but you're welcome to attend if you want to. It'll be at the Downstream in the Calumet room. Thank you.
Thank you for that update. Let's go ahead and go on to the executive director reports. Just keep in mind those reports are targeted to the business committee. If others in attendance this morning have questions regarding their reports, please pose your questions during open forum. The executive director reports were posted to the tribal website earlier this week, so those are available. Eric Boone, CFO, do you have anything to report beyond your posted report? Thank you, Eric. Trenton Stan, do you have anything to report beyond your posted report? Thank you. Jerry Holmes, interim leader of Quapaw Facilities Authority, do you have anything to report beyond your posted report?
Madam Chair, Jerry had to excuse herself for a personal emergency.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But Jerry's report is indeed available on the tribal website. Steve Estand, Executive Director of Tribal Member Services, do you have anything to report beyond what was posted? Thank you, Stephen. Standing in for Charles Addington this morning is Deputy Chief Mike Mullen. Do you have anything to add beyond what was already posted? Thank you, Mike. Everett Bandy, Executive Director of Culture and Events, do you have anything to report beyond your posted report? Thank you, Everett. All right, so let's go on to reading correction and approval of the phone polls. Larry Mercer, would you please take the very first phone poll?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is poll number 28297, and the request was for purchase for forestry of a Chevrolet 3500 HD to assist them in transportation of their equipment. The other truck was not able to pull that big of a load, and all we were going to do is eventually destroy that truck. Poll was approved for the purchase of a truck for the forestry department. This was sent to a phone poll for the necessity to get in purchased before it is sold to someone else. The approval count was 6-4. The certified date was 5/21/2024 at 7:08 a.m.
Member Buffalo, would you please take the next one?
Chair. Phone poll number 28830, purchase request for utilities Chevrolet 3500 chassis. Utility Authority is requesting a truck that can be readily converted into a flatbed. The current truck is undersized to haul equipment used on job sites. Truck will be purchased Bureau of Reclamation funds. We are requesting an emergency phone poll to prevent the truck from being sold before the next scheduled meeting. Truck we sold, the next available option would cost an additional $3,000. I might add, truck's kind of hard to find right now. And this phone poll was approved 7-0 and certified on 6/2/24, 11:32 a.m.
Member Buffalo, I just wanted to verify that was poll number 28830, correct?
Correct.
Got it. Thank you. I'll go ahead and take phone poll 28396. Okay, so this is a purchase request from QSA dump trucks. The QSA is in need of 15 dump trucks for chat remediation projects. The Quapaw Services Authority periodically replaces parts of its fleet to maximize the efficiency of the vehicles and travel capital. This was sent to a phone poll to expedite the previously approved purchase. It was approved unanimously by all 7 and certified on May the 22nd. Vice Chair McKibben, would you please take phone poll 28622?
Excuse me. Number 28622, which is a purchase request from the Marshals. The Marshal Service is requesting a patrol car to replace one that has suffered major mechanical issues and isn't drivable. The lack of state or federal contract vehicles necessitates the department to select a non-standard make and model. This was sent to poll because of safety and being time sensitive. 7-0 and was certified on May 30th for 7:07 a.m.
Great. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take the last phone poll?
Madam Chair. Poll number 28956. This is approval for financing Peterbilt 567 dump trucks. Requested by Eric Boone. This poll is for the approval of financing up to 15 2025 Peterbilt 567 trucks for Quapaw Services Authority by and through an agreement with Arkansas, the TLG agreement. This was sent to a poll to expedite the financing of the delivered trucks. It was approved by a count of 6 approval, 1 reject. Certified date is June 5th of 2024.
Is there, I'll accept a motion to approve the phone polls.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the respective phone polls that were presented.
Second.
Great. I think we've got an echo on second. The second was by Member Buffalo. Business Committee, is there any further discussion on these phone polls? Let's go to the vote. All those in favor of approving the phone polls, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passes and the phone polls are approved. Let's go on to new business. We're at item number 12 on the agenda. Member Davis, would you please take 061524-A?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution number 061524-A. This is a resolution authorizing Weena Supernall, Mans McKibben, and Eric Boone as authorized signatories on all bank accounts of the Quapaw Nation and remove all previous signatories from all bank accounts of the Quapaw Nation. Therefore, be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation Business Committee does hereby authorize Weena Supernall, Mans McKibben, and Eric Boone as authorized signatories in all bank accounts of the Quapaw Nation. Therefore, be it further resolved that all previous signatories are removed as an authorized signatory on any Quapaw Nation bank accounts. Madam Chair, I so move to adopt resolution number 061524-A.
Second.
Second by Vice Chairman McKibben. We have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of approving 061524-A, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passes. Member Gibbswater, would you please take 061524-B?
Resolution number 061524-B, the resolution to convey Quapaw Nation property. Whereas the Business Committee conveys the property as part of the Nahazda program to a tribal member. The tribal member has signed the Nahazda grant agreement and the security agreement required by the program. Therefore, be it resolved that the Business Committee approves conveying this property. I'd like to make a note, should be Quapaw Nation added before Business Committee. That's it.
I'm sorry, I might not have heard. Did you make a motion?
No.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 061524-B.
I'll go ahead and second it. Any discussion on 061524-B? Hearing no further discussion, let's go to the vote. All those in favor of adopting or passing 061524-B, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Let's go to a voice vote. Member Gibbswater?
No.
Member Davis?
Aye.
Secretary Treasurer Valier?
Aye.
Chair Weena Supernall? Aye. Vice Chairman McKibben? Member Buffalo? No. Member Mercer? The motion is not approved. We're going to go on. Let's see. Member Mercer, would you please cover 061524-C?
Resolution number 061524C. This is a resolution approving the purchase of 5 dump trucks. Whereas Quapaw Service Authority requesting 5 additional dump trucks in addition to the ones approved in a prior resolution for chat remediation projects. There's an opportunity to acquire additional trucks to mitigate allocation shortages in our area. Having solicited qualified vendors and conducted due diligence in accordance with the current policy and ensuring sufficient unencumbered funds exist, and therefore be it resolved that the attached purchase request for 5 additional dump trucks is approved by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Madam Chair, I recommend that we adopt resolution number 061524C.
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair McKibben. Is there any discussion? We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on 061524-C? Hearing no further questions, let's proceed to the vote. All those in favor of adopting 061524-C, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. 061524-C is approved. Let's see. Member Buffalo, would you please take 061524-D?
Madam Chairman, resolution approving the purchase of a track loader with attachments. Whereas the road department is requesting a track loader with attachments to maintain gravel roadways and ditches. Purchase will be made with funds made available from Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, ERRSAA, having solicited qualified vendors and conducted due diligence in accordance with current policy and ensuring sufficient and unencumbered funds exist. Therefore, be it resolved that the attached purchase request for a track loader with attachments is approved by the Quapaw Nation Business Committee. Madam Chair, I move to adopt.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion on this? Hearing nothing else, let's go to the vote. All those in favor of approving 061524-D, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Vice Chairman McKibben, would you please take 061524-E?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 061524E, a resolution to authorize the use of trust restricted land located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation for mowing, baling, and to authorize the execution of mowing, baling permit on behalf of the Quapaw Nation. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee supports mowing and baling the property, as well as efforts to clean up any trash or debris found on the property while mowing and baling. In return, the individual will be keeping all the hay that is produced. Said land is described as, please see Exhibit A. Therefore, it be resolved that the Quapaw Nation agrees to approve said permit supporting Travis Eby's request to mow and bale property. In exchange, we'll keep all the hay that is produced. Madam Chair, I so move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor for 061524-E. Is there any further discussion, Business Committee?
Madam Chair, I recuse myself.
Thank you, Member Davis. Any further discussion? All those in favor of adopting 061524-E, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. I'll go ahead and take the next one. That's resolution 061524-F. It's a resolution to authorize the sale of the Quapaw Nation's restricted interest in Chat and the Chat pile located under the jurisdiction of the Quapaw Nation. Whereas the Quapaw Nation Business Committee supports the sale of the nation's interest in the restricted Chat, total tonnage to be about 100,000 tons, located on the below portion of the allotment. The nation further agrees to grant access to the site to EPA and its contractors to remove said interest in Chat, and further understands that the nation's proportionate share will be paid upfront. Therefore, be it resolved, the Business Committee of the Quapaw Nation, that the nation's chairperson or an authorized representative of the Quapaw Nation is hereby authorized to execute this consent given for the Chat sale and access over the nation's interest in Chat and property. Therefore, be it resolved that the Quapaw Nation requests the Secretary of the Interior or an authorized representative approve said Chat sale. I move to adopt Resolution 061524-F.
Second.
Thank you, Member Buffalo. We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on this particular resolution? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of adopting 061524-F, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And the motion carries. Secretary Treasurer Valier, would you please take 061524-G?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the interest of brevity, I believe I will read just the last 3 paragraphs on this resolution, since everybody actually has a copy of the resolution and will be able to read all of the legal terminology that's included in this. Resolution number 061524G, a resolution approving engagement letter with a bank. Further resolved that in addition to and without limiting the foregoing, authorized persons be, and each of them hereby is authorized, empowered, and directed to take and cause to be taken such further action and to execute and deliver or cause to be delivered for and in the name and on behalf of Saracen, the authority, or the nation as appropriate, such other instruments, agreements, and certifications as may be contemplated by the engagement letter, and to take such other actions as may hereby be necessary and appropriate to obtain funding under the engagement letter or to carry out the obligations of Saracen, the authority, or the nation as appropriate. Thereunder, including future amendments, modifications, or supplements, or additional documents and agreements that may be necessary and appropriate to the engagement letter, and all action heretofore taken by such persons and in connection with the foregoing recitals and resolutions be, and it hereby is approved, ratified, and confirmed in all respects as the act and deed of Saracen, the authority, or the nation is appropriate. Further resolved that the business committee and the authority hereby approve and ratify any and all actions taken or accomplished prior to the date these resolutions were adopted that would have been authorized by those resolutions, but for the fact that they occur prior to the date hereof, and further resolved that this resolution shall become effective as of the date and time of its passage and approval of the business committee. Madam Chair, I move that that resolution number 061524F be adopted. I'm sorry, let me restate that. It's 061524G. Move for the adoption of this resolution.
We have a motion on the floor to approve Resolution 061524-G. Is there any further discussion? One thing I would like to point out, this particular engagement letter was approved yesterday by the Downstream Development Authority. It is based on their recommendation that this particular resolution was included on today's agenda, and we appreciate that. Any other discussion? All those in favor of adopting 061524-G, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries. All right, we're going to go on to donations. It looks like there are 5 of them this morning. First off, the first donation is for a France mission trip request by Ms. Madeline Arnold, who is on Zoom. I know it may take us a moment to find who's speaking to this particular mission trip. For folks that are on Zoom, if you're speaking to the mission trip, if you please raise your hand on the Zoom chat or indicate otherwise, and that way we know which line to unmute.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Hi, I'm Madeline. I go by Maddie. I'm a tribe member, and I'm for a donation request for a mission trip to Paris. I'll be traveling with the International Missions Board. I'll be there for 2 August for the Olympics. So we're gonna be there to evangelize the gospel all over the world, from athletes to spectators. We'll be able to talk to countries that have probably never heard of Jesus, which is great. My goal for this trip is $2,500, but I don't have a specific amount that I'm requesting. So anything will help. So that's pretty much all I got. Unless you guys have any questions of what I'll be doing in Paris.
And would this donation be utilized to help defray your travel expenses?
Yes, I'll pay. It all goes to the. I'm traveling with the missions board, but it all gets me to Paris, and with food and stay also.
Thank you. Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Madam Chair, I move to donate $500 to Madeline Arnold to help defray costs for her mission trip to Paris.
Second.
All right, so we've got a motion on the floor for a donation of $500 for the France mission trip. Any further discussion or questions for Miss Madeline? Yeah. Go to the vote. All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries and the donation in the amount of $500 is approved.
Thank you guys very much.
Have a great
day.
trip.
Thank you so much.
All right, the next one is for the organization Missing and Murdered Indigenous People. And I think, Member Davis, you had said you were going to cover this.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The organization is the Missing Murdered Indigenous People, the Central Oklahoma chapter. And this organization helps to provide missing and murdered Indigenous people in Central Oklahoma. Purpose is to provide services and support to our MMIP families by actively searching for our missing relatives, actively fighting for justice for our murdered relatives, consistently advocating for our missing, murdered Indigenous people, families, and victims, and continuously educating and raising awareness of the MMIP movements to the community. Madam Chair, this is a 501c3 organization. They also host raffles, Indian taco sales, and other fundraising events for the proceeds to help the MMIP families when needed. And it's not only to bring awareness to our MMIP crisis, but to help our MMIP families. I would just like to note that I believe it was 2019, one of our tribal members' daughter fell victim to this type of situation. And then I know that one of our family or one of our extended nations had a Wyandotte tribal member, a former classmate of mine, that was also a murdered victim. And I would so move that we donate at the yellow tier level for $500 to help them in their efforts, just based on the fact that they are 501c3 and the purpose of what these funds go toward. Gonna gay.
Okay.
So we have a motion on the floor for a $500 donation to the Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Central Oklahoma chapter. Are there any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor of the $500 donation to Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Central Oklahoma chapter, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries and the donation is approved. All right, so we're going to go on to the next one. Benjamin Chavez. I didn't know if Benjamin was going to present first and then Coda or together. Absolutely. Good morning. Glad you're here.
Good morning. My name is Benjamin Chavez Frances III. I am enrolled and a member of the Quapaw tribe of Oklahoma. I am a descendant of the Francis Quapaw Good Eagle. My great-grandpa was Ronnie Good Eagle. I am requesting a financial assistance for a registration fee, hotel, gas, and extra, which is foundation to attend the annual Native Youth Golf Championship Tour hosted by the NB3 Foundation. Will be held at Santa Ana Golf Course in Santa Ana Pueblo, New Mexico, July 21st through 2024. Winners of the age division can qualify to play in the Notability third junior national championship. That will be televised on the Golf Channel. This will be my second year attending the tournament to represent the Quapaw tribe. I am 10 years old. I have been playing golf since I could walk. I've been playing in the U.S. Kids Golf program for 2 years. I love playing golf, and I want to be better than my big brother, Coda. This will be my second time playing in this tournament, and I am excited to see my friends I met last year and to represent my Sac and Fox people.
Thank you so much. Glad to hear that you must be a really good golfer. Maybe that's the problem. I started too late in life, so.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Before we go on, let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and make a motion for a donation in the amount of $500.
Okay.
Discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the $500 donation for Benjamin, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Thank you, guys.
Approved. Thank you.
Good luck.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm Coda Chavez. I'm his big brother, and I'm pretty much just asking for the same thing. I've been playing golf since I was 5 years old. I played in Junior PGA League in the summers of 2014 and 2015. I've played for Cushing Public Schools since I was in 7th grade to now. I finished my junior year placing 16th out of 76 golfers at the Class 4H State Championship Tournament. I am currently registered to play in tournaments with the U.S. Kids Golf, Oklahoma Junior Golf Association, and South Central PGA programs this summer. I plan to use this opportunity to gain recognition and experience that will center towards my future goal to enter in the PGM program and play golf. This will be my third year attending this tournament, and last year I did pretty decent in it, so I feel like I can win this year.
That's wonderful. I'll go ahead and make a motion for a donation in the amount of $500.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries and the $500 donation is approved. Thank you
guys
very
so
much and good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, good
Thank you.
luck.
And I've got the Golf Channel. I want to make sure I watch. All right, next up is the All Tribes Education Consortium. And I see that Karen Hildreth is here this morning to present. Thank you for being here, Karen.
Morning. I'm Karen Hildreth, and I am the current president of the ATEC organization, All Tribes Education Consortium. We are a fundraising organization to Native American students to provide a small scholarship. We try to fund every student that applies. We've had a hard time since COVID, well, because the Cherokee Nation used to give us an annual donation of $10,000 per year. Without that, we haven't had it for the last 5 years. Without that, we have to solely depend on fundraisers, which on an average might bring in $1,500. We are asking for a $500 donation to defray costs for an Indian taco fundraiser, which will happen next Friday at the farmers market. Anyway, it's taken us a long time to build up because one semester of funding students, we usually put out about $13,000. So it takes a lot of fundraisers. And I was made aware of this week that there are certain people who have wondered where our money goes since we haven't been able to fund anyone for the last couple years. Well, it's all in the bank. We're trying, this year, we figure we have enough that we've raised on our own to start fundraising or start giving that donation to the students again to award the scholarships. So we're just asking for $500 to defray the cost of the meal.
Thank you. So that's to buy the goods necessary so that you can
Yes.
continue those
Yes.
fundraising efforts. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Madam Chair, I move to donate $500 to ATEC.
We've got a motion on the floor for a $500 donation to All Tribes Education Consortium. Is there any discussion? Let's go to the vote. All those in favor of approving the $500 donation, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries and the $500 donation is approved. Right, so next on the agenda, we'll proceed to open forum. Remember, the rules remain in place. In order to speak, an individual must have submitted the form or must pertain to topics on today's agenda. There is a 5-minute time limit, 1 trip to the podium. Be respectful. Please use a microphone. We have an individual who submitted the form, so let us hear from Barbara Collier first. Good morning.
Thank you. It's easier for me to sit. If that's okay with you. Again, I mentioned my phone has been ringing with rumors, so this is mostly what this pertains to. You mentioned earlier the investing of funds, and one thing that has been asked about Saracen, which I brought up a couple of months ago, about the representative of the tribe being the second chief of the Eastern Shawnees. And I assume that he's still in place at Saracen, as well as going to be for the new Quapaw Casino. Indigo Sky is one of our major competitors. And I wanted to know if that had been taken into consideration by the committee to no qualms against him, but to hire someone that didn't have any ties to another casino or another tribe. So not that he may not be doing a good job, I don't know that, but I do know too that down at Saracen, as before when I was in office at the QNGA, we were not allowed to do any work or regulatory position at Saracen because it was a commercial site, which we understood. But there's been nothing done down there to make sure that the costs have been what they should be. From the beginning, the representative was there and before the casino was built, and during that time, maybe not prior to immediately before it was built, but during that time. And so the 3 individuals that are there that are the main administrative costs, I understand that the one rumor was that the DDA had requested financial information from Saracen and that you prohibited them to receive that. Is that true?
No, it is not. They've received all, to my knowledge, they've received all information that has been requested. Now, sometimes there's difficulty in getting files. That might be a better question for Cuggy. Are you being prohibited from informational inquiries at Saracen?
Well, good. That then sounds like that rumor is squashed. Then that's a good thing, because I feel like that there has been no internal. The nation has not created any audit down there whatsoever since the casino was open that I'm aware of, and I think it's high time for that to happen, because during my term I did 2 forensic audits at Downstream, and that purported many things that were not kosher, especially with credit card charges. So I would like to see the business committee take some action towards doing an audit there.
We do know that the records have been evaluated very carefully up through probably January of 2021. That would have been a part of work conducted over that summer and fall. But thank you.
Well, I know, initially during general council one time, there was a big hoo-ha because of some of the untruths that were told about the bonds and the bondholders and the authority they had and whatsoever, and how the funds were being spent. And that was all really false information, basically. So I think we need to, know where whether the funds went to, what they were actually for. And I don't know how to do that other than to have some kind of an audit. So that was my concern, major concern. Also, it got brought up to me about the $19 million. You had mentioned, you did not take that. But it was brought up to me about the resolution for that. And I think it was brought up in a prior business committee meeting. Was there a resolution for Joe Bird and Guy Barker to remove that $19 million or remove part of it from the BOK? Did you ever find that resolution? It was, to my knowledge, when I've been here, it was never answered.
Barbara, I'm going to answer your question on that because that was one of the things that we had been looking at earlier this week. And yes, there was a resolution, and forgive me, I need to go ahead and pull that up because I remember it was August, and if I remember, was it August 20? It was August of 2020. There was a resolution. It was a general resolution, and towards the end of the resolution, it did make a statement that it did approve the business committee to distribute funds. It did not give an exact amount, but it gave the general approval for the business committee to be able to distribute some of those Good Eagle settlement funds.
I have to admit, I've looked at that resolution probably 100 times, and I never missed that. I never really understood that paragraph until Vice Chairman McKibben pointed that out. It's absolutely right.
Right.
We have looked at it, and we have reviewed it, and we've considered it.
Like, I don't know why it befell me to. I guess they know that I'm afraid to ask. Call me up and say, I heard this, I heard that. So thank you. I hope everyone that has these questions that I'm asking you are listening so that they can get their answers. One last thing. I understand that this is probably the cherry on top of all the rumors, that the gas cards for the general council were not timely ordered, and so they're not going to be in the packets like they have been in the past. And that Weena and the marshals are going to pass out $100 bills to everyone that comes through the door.
No.
Is that true?
That is not true. It is true that the gas cards haven't been printed. There's some sort of a snafu with the vendor that's utilized for that purpose. And so we're looking at lower cost alternatives. So, but anybody that knows me very well understands that I have a collation problem. If you give me a stack of paper, I'll show you a stack of paper that's all over the place. I'm the last person to be doing activities that you're describing. No. No.
Okay, well,
we are looking at alternatives because, we just because we can't get the darn cards printed isn't a reason that we discontinue a perfectly fine program, but we are looking at alternatives.
Sure. Well, thank you. Well, I left my question paper. I have to write down things, and I had a whole list of the things on a paper at home, and I went off and forgot it. So I think that's all. Thank you.
Becky?
We've had quite a bit of discussion on that, and we were considering an audit, but we found, or at least decided, that they're in the process of doing their annual audit, so that they're going to put special emphasis on the credit cards, which will be a lot cheaper than having a separate audit, but it has really been considered, and that's so far the solution we've come up with.
Thank you. Barbara, did you have any items to add? Thank you. Others who may wish to speak during open forum, I see 2 hands raised. John E., you're getting your exercise today.
Oh,
Bonnie?
Okay, I am sorry that I am confused on this Good Eagle situation that was mentioned today, that we have to reapply or reassign or answer emails. I thought we did all that. I thought we had meetings on that. And I'm sorry. You know me, I'm blunt. What is the holdup?
So one of the things that I think, unfortunately, as a group, Plaintiff Group 1 learned and encountered in both of the distributions, there are some activities that are that should be part of the process that were not done. When it comes to tracking people down, addresses, emails, making sure that, is an individual an heir or not. There's paperwork and there's going to be a process. And what was described earlier was what we believe to be a very well structured process that needs to be in place in order to ensure that everyone that is a part of the distribution receives that distribution, Bonnie. So that's really the whole point. If you remember, when the first distribution was made, there was paperwork that had to be signed and acknowledged and returned. So as far as a process, that one actually went really well. Not so much on the second one. And what we want to do is learn from past activities and do the best we possibly can to make sure that it's a fair, well communicated, structured, and everybody knows what to expect and by when. That's the whole focus in trying to establish this process.
Second question, are you take leave out of that?
We're not prepared to answer that question at the current time, Bonnie.
How much longer process are we as we
The money is indeed invested, so there's interest being earned. Y'all aren't going to pay interest on it, okay? So there is interest being earned on those monies that are invested. I think your probably more important question was, how much longer is this going to take? It's not going to be a year, but quite frankly, whatever I said right now would be pure speculation, and that would be irresponsible to say, hey, Bonnie, we're going to have it all wrapped up in 30 days. I genuinely do not know, Bonnie. But what Member Davis described earlier is absolutely spot on, and that is, we understand the necessity of moving as quickly as we can, but we need to do it methodically and not chaotically. That's what we're trying to avoid. Thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate you asking the questions.
I would just like to have some money. Because I am a good eagle. I appreciate
You. I see Brenda as well as Michelle. Yeah.
This is Michelle Newton. I have a question, and I don't know if it's addressed to Cookie, but you had mentioned that 3 people that were licensed now in Arkansas. There's 5 of you, correct, on the DDA board? Is there a reason why the other 2 have not got that done? I just felt like it's extremely important that if you wanted to be on that board, that you should be down there getting to know our people.
State of Arkansas Racing Commission only issues license Thursday. We didn't even know that in the beginning, but everybody, I think, has already submitted their application. I think they've all been approved, but they have to go over to Arkansas just to take a photograph. And one of them has to fly there from California, and the other has to drive or fly down there. So it's just a matter of scheduling it for probably the nearest Thursday.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate that. I just have a comment. I just feel like it's extremely important that, those that chose to be on this board and were appointed, that they make every effort to be there as often as they can and get to know the employees, because again, rumors, I'm so sick of rumors, it's ridiculous, but I hope that each one finds it very important to go down and meet and get to know and ask questions, because I do strongly believe in that team. I've come a long way. I went through the fire with that whole situation. So I know that before anyone should judge whether you're on the board or not, you should get to know the leadership and the employees, because they really do have a great team. They really do care. So.
Thank you, Michelle. Who else had their hand raised? Hey,
I've
Brenda.
just got some questions on things that were passed today. You bought 20 dump trucks, and can you give us a cost of them, the total?
I don't know if we have that answer off the top of our head. Those are the dump trucks for QSA, right? Okay. So one of the things, it seems like an astounding order, but we're not getting them all at the same time. They're basically delivering those in blocks of 5, and I'm not sure what the total cost is, Brenda.
Right. And then
Because that resolution is for the acquisition. There's a whole nother financing side that we had previously approved for Eric
are they
Boone to
bought
enter
or
into.
leased?
They are purchased with guaranteed buyback values. That makes sense. So we get to keep, the cool thing is we get to keep the equipment and utilize it for X number of years. Let's say it's 2 years or 3 years. We've got a guaranteed price that's basically the salvage value where we're going to sell it back. So we're not out, total amount. And that way we can continue to replenish that equipment, which is imperative not only for worker safety, but for what they're actually accomplishing out there.
Have they got a contract for them for work, to a job? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And the other one is the land that didn't pass. What was the situation on that?
It was a Nahasda house, but it failed, Others would have to speak for specific reasons about why they chose to vote the way that they did, but it failed, so it did not pass.
Mr. Can we go back to Henry? He's been putting his hand up several times.
Yes, I just have a concern about our current employees and what action do they get before they're being terminated? Do you have a written procedure, or you just say you're gone? Or this person I'm speaking of just was released from his position, and because he didn't fit. What is a fit? I've been in management for a long time. I've never heard of fit, unless it was prior to hiring him. He doesn't want me to be speaking like this, but it was with James Dawson. He was very, very educated and qualified for the position he was serving. But I'd just like to know why. And did you offer him another position? He may not be Quapaw, but he's an employee under our, and took away money from my daughter and my grandson, which is in that house. Did you find that's what other employees, could this happen to them also? What is the plan of action for them to return? TERO would have been great for this particular situation. Did the business committee dismiss this person, or did the HR dismiss this person? And did he get a plan of action to correct whatever the problem was? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henry. Quapaw Nation is an at-will employer. If we said anything else, it would be disclosing confidential information. Hi, Bonnie.
Another question.
Wait a minute. This is your second trip to the podium.
Oh, I can only have one.
One trip to the podium. Sorry.
This is referring to the withdrawal of $19 million from the BOK, Bird Barker administration. Could you tell me, is there a document missing? At one time, you said there was a document missing that we needed. And is it found where it was a proper withdrawal?
And we will be setting an appointment with you early next week to be able to go over your freedom of information requests, and those documents will be provided to you at that time.
But are we missing one? Because earlier, a few weeks ago, they said BOK couldn't even find it. Is that true?
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of what.
Well, it came out of the business committee some time ago. Someone up there said that. I don't know. I mean, wouldn't just be saying that. So I'd like to know, or maybe if I get to know, I can't release that information. It says on there, I cannot release the Freedom Information Act, anything that I received. Now, I think everybody should ought to know this answer, but that's up to you, and I don't understand this. So we need to find out.
Madam Chair, I recall the Secretary Treasurer released that information prior, just a few moments ago.
By referencing the
in
resolution.
response to Barbara's question, that information was given. What you're asking? I think, Stephen, what was said at that meeting, at that time, the resolution was not found. Whether or not it was found in the bank is irrelevant. You will be getting that information. The resolution was found. Since I've had Mike now, I'd just like to make a comment. No, I've saw over the last month or more derogatory remarks against candidates, degrading remarks, untrue remarks about employees at Saracen. Absolutely false. Saw figures quoted in those. I don't have Facebook. I get them, people send them to me and individuals send this to me. Figures are not true. They're false. And sum it all up, months ago, the chair invited anybody to our meetings wanted to come during the week. I'll tell you how many people came. None. But rumors fly of things we've done. You want to know? Come to the meetings. Don't start rumors, anybody. Don't listen to Facebook. I don't have Facebook. Facebook's full of lies to start with. untruths. I've never degraded a candidate, and I don't believe anybody else should degrade a candidate. People have the right to support who they want to. Don't use a candidate's degrading a candidate to get support for somebody else. That's wrong. Respect your right to support a candidate. Don't degrade them. This is the worst time. This is the worst degrading of a candidate I've heard in over 50 years. Got to stop. Have meetings, and the chair invited people to come to our meetings. Nobody.
All day. Monday morning, we'll be in the RWC classroom at 10. Monday afternoon, it looks like we'll be, later in the afternoon, we'll also be in the RWC classroom. We've got a couple hour break from 11 to 2. We'll be in the RWC classroom all day on Monday. Oh, good question. Good question. So what we need to do is start posting, because some of the meetings are, personnel related. If we're doing things like reviewing, employee handbooks and things of that nature, but that's not all of them, obviously. But what we'll do is, people have differing views about the tribal website, but there is a calendar capability, and what we can do is start putting it out there. As it changes, honestly, Barbara. We're at the RWC classroom, and then we've got to be at the admin building, and then we're over here, and we drive a lot.
At that first meeting, if I might interrupt, the chair gave a calendar of events where we were going to be, basically for a full week. Still, nobody came. Can't put stuff as false on Facebook when you don't attend the meetings. You don't know what's going on. People say we're not transparent. We're trying to be transparent by inviting people to the meetings. What more can we do? That's my say.
Anybody else for open forum? Can we get a microphone?
Zoom won't be able to hear you.
I said, Lena opened up the meetings way back when. You got invited to any meeting that you choose to go to. However, it like my EFA meeting, it is closed. It's confidential, just like some of the others. However, Barbara Collier told me years ago, you could go to any meeting that you choose, but you must leave when they discuss private issues. That was brought up last Thursday between 2 and 4 o'clock. If you come to the meetings, you will learn this stuff. I have heard all kinds of stuff at Title VI about you, that in the last 60 years, you did not bring this tribe out of their trouble. And I said, it takes more than one person. It takes everybody sitting up there, no matter who's sitting at that time. It takes all the tribal members to come out to the dadgum meetings, and they don't choose it. But if they think they're going to get free gibbies or free money, they will be here. But otherwise, they don't matter. They don't matter. But I thought Lloyd did not work at the tribe 60 years. He worked for other tribes. He created constitutions. He was tribal administrator of several tribes. It is not his fault that this tribe is in the turmoil like our candidate is exploding on Facebook. And I said, that is, and we're on the ethics committee and we're spreading this gossip like that. That is not ethical. I didn't need it. Yeah.
What my sister is alluding to, there was a statement made for the last 60 years I've lived off the tribe. For one thing, I haven't been with the tribe for 60 years. Another thing, when I was on the business committee initially back in the 70s, we drew no money. Wasn't until about 6 years ago that anybody on the business committee started getting a salary. Prior to that time, for a few years, I got $450 a month. I was a set-up lead man at Lozier Manufacturing in Joplin when I first came on. Worked at a convenience store. I worked as administrator of the Modoc tribe. I've done compliance work for the Seneca tribe. I sat on the board of Indian Health Service Clinic. I was chairman, longest chairman serving there for 9 years. I've never lived off the tribe. I hate those rumors. And I even hate the rumor that my wife embezzled $40,000 when she worked for the tribe. My wife has never worked for the tribe. She had retired from federal service after 43 years. And these stupid, damn, excuse my language, rumors have got to stop.
Grace, you wanted to speak?
Yes. Excuse me. I just wanted to say I'm looking to Entate, father of the O-gah-pah. Recent times, there's not really been what we would call real transparency. We don't know a lot of what is going on. And yes, there are meetings, but people work. They don't live here in the area, and it's hard for them to get to meetings and things. But yes, we do want our people to be informed. But while we're doing that, please, let's be civil about it. We need to treat each other with respect. And that's not been happening. Verbal abuse, that is happening. It should never be that way. We have power. We've got all of the families who are coming together. And it wasn't long ago when we were one family. Sure, there's disagreements. But nevertheless, please, please, let's be civil to one another, because this tearing down of one another is not good at all. This is not the way we're supposed to be or to live. And we're thinking future generations. We've got to let our young folk know this is the way you can live better than what we're going through. But these personal attacks, no, forget it. Don't do it. And so again, please, please, let's be civil about it. Okay.
Anybody else for open forum? Oh, Brenda.
I would offer my apologies. I normally don't get upset like that, but got to me. My family's been accused of things that hadn't happened. It shouldn't happen to anybody. I've never degraded a candidate. I never will. Respect everybody's right to run for office. Vote who you want to. Not vote based upon lies and fabrications against the candidate. That is absolutely not right. That's not the Quapaw way. I agree with everything Grace has said. I respect every one of you, whether you vote for me or not, and this is not a campaign speech. I respect you. When I'm elected, and I was elected, always done my best for the nation. I've lived with this. Be truthful to yourself, what you believe, and be truthful to what you say to people. Live by that, and also live by the policy, do not do for yourself what you would not do for anybody else. I think you've read that in a lot of my campaign stories. That's been my life, and I'm not a wild-tempered person. I'm mild-mannered. I was taught a long time ago. Listen and speak only when you have to. I don't speak aloud. I say something, you can believe it. got to say, and I thank you, Grace, for your comments.
Beverly, I think there was another
Allie.
question over here. Allie?
Not a question, just speaking from experience and kind of what Grace has spoke on and Lloyd spoke on. We do need to get back to respect. And at the end of the day, I know it's easier and funner to speak of rumors, but to stop it and to act like adults is to pick up the phone and to call those who you hear these rumors about, help them out. Their phone numbers, their emails, here in a meeting, come speak to them. That's the only way we're going to be able to move this tribe forward in a positive manner, is to be able to nip it in the bud and call them out. So thank you.
Thank you, Callie. Member Gibbswater, would you please close? Oh, excuse me. Thank you, Brenda. Member Gibbswater, would you please close us out in prayer?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We stand adjourned at 11:12 a.m.